single foot knot. So for this, we're going to have both silk pieces together and we're going to tie a knot around one foot. So whichever foot you want to tie on depends on your preference. As beginners, we should try both sides because later we would like to, of course, progress to a double foot knot where each silk piece is tied on each separate foot. So for now, because we're still beginners, we're going to tie this from the floor rather than in the air. When we do it in the air, it's slightly different. So let's just do it from the floor first. So to tie this over our right foot, we're going to wrap our right leg around the silk as if we're going to climb. So the right leg goes from right side to left side and the top of the foot goes around the silk like so. Then this silk, we're going to pull a little bit so that it gets a little bit longer on the top, just a little bit. And then we're going to bring the top part of the silk below our foot. So our foot's going to sit on top of this silk like this. So you've got a kind of a knot on the right foot. The silk is supporting the base of our foot. Before we climb, let's put our weight on this foot first to make sure that it's not going to slip off. If this feels secure, then what we'll do is we'll climb up. So before we climb, let's first make sure that the silk is directly under the rig so that it doesn't swing too much. Hold the top part of the silk with both hands and then pull ourselves up using our legs to get ourselves up, not our arms, and then stand on it. And there we go. So to show you from this point of view, both silks together. Right leg goes from right side to left side. Wrap the foot under the silk, flex foot. The silk we're going to pull so that it gets a little bit loose so that we can wrap the silk under the foot. Okay, so now top part of the silk, we're going to push this down, bring our foot up, and then our foot goes on top of the silk like this. So it should look like this. Before we go up, press the silk down with our foot to make sure that it's not going to slide off. Make sure that the silk is straight underneath the rig. Both hands on the top part of the silk. And then using our leg strength, we're going to press our weight on the right foot and stand up. In order to get out of the knot, it's very easy. All we need to do is just push the silk forward and then the silk slides right off the foot. Or rather, you have to kick it off, but it's very easy to slide off. So some common problems that could happen when we are trying to tie the knot around our foot is that the silk gets over our toes. So when this happens, this is already not good because what happens is we can't see our toes and it's very easy for the foot to slide off the silk. So that becomes really dangerous. So whenever we tie the knot, make sure we can see our toes. Loosen a little bit so that when this goes around and we need to see our toes so that we know that our skin is in contact with the silk. That way it won't slide off easily and we can make sure that our weight is supported by the silk. When you've got the knot tied around your foot, you should not only have your toes sticking out, but also your heels sticking out, which means that there's maximum skin contact between your foot and the silk. So that will really enhance the grip and you won't slip off easily. Every time we climb, we want to make sure that the silk is directly underneath the hook or the rigging point so that we're not swinging too much. If we climb while we're at an angle like this, we're going to swing too much. Whenever we want to climb, always reach for the highest point in the silk so that when we climb, it's comfortable for us to hold. If you try to hold the silk at a low point, like right in front of your eyes, you're going to be using too much arm strength to try to stand up. When we reach up, we'll be using more leg strength, which is stronger than our arms and able to support us better. So one common mistake when tying the knot is not giving yourself the slack. So when we wrap our foot around the silk, You want to make sure that you pull a little bit to give some slack so that it's easy for the right foot to go above and on top. If we don't give ourselves that slack, that means we just wrap it and straight away try to tie, you'll find that it becomes too high and it's very hard to get the foot on the silk, and suddenly it's at a very high position and you gotta like really yank yourself to go up. So it's a lot more challenging. So remember to give yourself that slack. It's important to give that slack because then when we're actually tying our knot while in air, it's easier for us to get that knot in place so that we can stand. Now to tie the left leg, we do the same thing but in mirror image. So we're going to wrap our left leg around as if we're going to do the normal climb. So from left to right, foot goes under the silk, flex the foot. We're going to pull the silk on the top a little bit so that we get a little bit of slack. And then top part of the silk, we're going to push down. Foot is going to go up and above, like so. And as before, we're going to press our weight a little bit on the left foot to make sure our weight can be supported. Silk is directly underneath the rigging point. Hands go up, and then using leg strength, we're going to pull up. Okay, so that's how we can tie a single foot knot.